Me too. So, yeah, this month we've been getting a little bit more into self-discovery, self-awareness, self-study of the poses, kind of diving a little deeper into understanding how yoga affects our body and ultimately our bones in this class, right? So today I thought we'd venture into one of those don'ts that they always say, like if you have osteoporosis, you should not, do this or that, the other thing. And they will often say, "Hi, Maureen.
Hi, Mary Beth. Thank you.
I'm just gonna mute you, Maureen. Okay."
Yes.
But okay. Um, so sometimes they'll say, if you have osteoporosis, you should not do any twists. And like I said at the last week, like any of those don'ts are, or even do's, are always really dependent on your own situation, your own experience level, your own fitness level, your own the quality of your bones. So has anybody ever had a vertebral fracture? Anybody in here? No? Okay, that's good. So that's really what their concern is for twists, is that the vertebra, and I wish I had like a little skeleton. Maybe I'll invest in one. We can look at the spine together. The vertebra of the spine, start out pretty wide and thick at the bottom, and then they get progressively thinner up towards the top of your neck. And the twisting can cause some issues and some pressure that if your bones are really fragile, they could crush essentially. So it's called a compression fracture. Usually it happens on the front side where the big thick piece of the vertebra are. Hi, Christy. But every piece of your body, every tissue in your body needs to have some stimulus to do what it needs to do, right? So one of the values of yoga is moving so that you can keep all of the other things that move in your body, the systems that move in your body are supported by the sort of the undulation of the muscles, and so that goes all the way deep inside with the digestive system, and especially the bones, right? So if you don't give your bones a reason to be sturdy, if you're not giving them forces to transmit, they're going to just kind of hang out, right? So this is sort of the physical manifestation of better bones. And so there's different pressures that can happen on twists. Well, just with the spine, let's just talk about the vertebra. So there's something where we elongate the spine, we keep space, we kind of ground down and rise up, and it's called axial extension. So you kind of take all the natural curves on your body and you're not straightening them out, but you're giving more space for all of those little discs to have more space to come up out of it. So you're not just like sinking in with gravity, you're using the muscles to come up out. So tension along this way. And then there is like compression that happens with gravity over time. And that's where it could have an issue with the compression fractures if you're just letting this happen and you're letting the curves get a little bit rounded. That's why this whole kyphosis in the upper back, all of this weight starts to come over, your head starts to come over. There's a lot more weight on the front of your spine here. So we want more axial extension so that we lessen the compression. And then there's a shearing force that can happen depending on the movement. And so that the bones could go off to the side. And so you can like if we're leaning out to the side, which we'll do in a moment, there's going to be some kind of compression on one side and tension on the other side. And that's okay to some extent, but you want to listen to your body and listen to what it feels like. Are you going too far? Is it feeling super compressed? Or can you still feel space, right? So any of these things are fine to a point. You just don't want to take them to an extreme. Then the one that's really good for the bone is the twist in the vertebra and it's called torsional twists. And if you're twisting very long and very vertical, in the sense of a seated twist, by the way, then you're giving all of the bones even stimulus all the way up to your neck, and there's more range of motion in your neck than the bottom. So there'll be a slight twist in the bottom, more towards the center of the chest, the upper chest, and the neck can turn a little bit further, depending on what's going on with your own spine, right? So So giving your body all these things to do gives you're giving not only the discs some, some movement. That's how the synovial fluid comes into play. It gets it nice and moist and gives more fluid movement by moving. But also the bones get that reminder that they need to be steady and sturdy, right? So so when they say no twists, they're just afraid of you twisting in some kind of really awkward way, where you're putting compression into it, or you're compromising the integrity of the spine. So like I said, this is a don't that's really dependent on what's going on with your body. So we're going to do some twists today during practice that we'll think about it in a more mindful way. We'll be moving the spine even laterally, so thinking of that compression on one side and tension on the other. And we'll be doing seated, and we'll be standing, and then there's an idea of doing twists on the floor, so your spine is supported on the back, so you have a little bit of different sense of that twist. And if any of these don't ever feel right for you, you don't do them. You take twists very slow, and you always think length first, then the movement. All right? Plan? Got it? All right.